Postman is an API development environment that is used by developers around the world to build and manage their API lifecycle. Postman is currently used by more than 6 million developers in more than 200,000 organizations around the world. So Postman started as a company in India in October of 2014. As of now, we have 2 offices, one in Bangalore and one in San Francisco. And we have grown really significantly in terms of our headcount since the day we started. First time when Abhinav, Abhijit and I, the 3 co-founders, met together in our 1-bedroom that we used to work out of. The first thing we did before writing a single line of code was to actually list down what we called as a culture code. So the idea of this culture code was this set of guidelines that we, the 3 of us, are going to abide by. And every time we would see that one of us would violate these guidelines is where we'll go and question, and regardless of what your level of seniority within the organization is. And that was really, really important for us from the very, very beginning. So we evolved this entire piece into what we now call as Postman Values. And these set of values are something that we abide by.
Culture here plays a very, very important part. Even when it comes to hiring, we make sure that the first round of interview or till the last round of interview with Ankit Sopti, all those iterations of the interviews go through the culture, the values themselves.
The values of creating with curiosity, where we make sure that people are always curious about what they're building. Building things is important, but building things with an innate sense of curiosity, where you always think about improving process, becomes very important.
The curiosity to be able to learn new things every day and then apply maybe those slightly auxiliary things into what it is that you do is something that everybody here is very big on. You'll see sales folks talking to data science people, you'll see development folks talking to marketing people, and that is something that happens on a day-to-day basis.
The values of earning trust, where you do not expect trust to be there, you have to live it. We have been very, very transparent about everything that is going on in the organization. We make sure that there is a constant stream of communication, both through all-hand events that happen once a quarter, through internal newsletter that goes on to the organization every month, through open Slack channels, where everything that is relevant to the business is available for everybody to look at, including all kind of user feedback, whether it is positive or negative. Then we have the values of embracing constraints, where yes, of course, we have to build great things, but we have to realize that things are built under constraints. And constraints help you improve what you're really doing.
When you have a problem, there are multiple ways of solving the problem. But the best of the problems are solved when you are using a sort of first principle thinking, where you trace back, ask yourself the question why, and you would be surprised how amazingly simple results or simple solutions come up, where you stop looking at defined best practices and stuff like that the world throws at you, and you ask the real question, does it actually fall in place with the things that I want to build? And then you question those, and then you ultimately end up creating something much more beautiful.
Another thing that we practice very, very strongly is winning together. It's not just about the fact that when we win, we take the credit, but when we lose, we blame someone. It's always about winning together and losing together. The last thing that we focus on is own and deliver.
Believing that each one of us is going to take ownership of whatever we're working on and make sure that when it goes out to a customer and once it's out in production, then we're all giving it our all to make sure that we're delivering the best thing we can.
At Postman, we are very strong about rituals. And the idea behind rituals is that it is something that somebody new who comes into the organization absorbs into and becomes a part of the culture that we speak about. We have this idea of a demo day, where you have the entire organization come together on one day and demonstrate, not just talk about what you have been doing this week, you demonstrate physically that, hey, this is what I've built. Right? And it doesn't have to be only that week, this is what I've been building. And it culminates into knowledge sharing across the entire organization. On a similar vein, to go into more detail on a technical construct, on Fridays we do this thing called as Tech Talk Fridays, where basically we sit down and just to end the week on a learning note. Again, so that you represent this idea of creating with curiosity and you propagate everything to do with that. On a daily basis, we have this daily stand-up. Meetings are, again, not something that we look at in terms of an instrument where you think and do your work. A meeting is an instrument where you collect together and make sure that nobody is blocked or is stuck on something. We make sure that there is an infinite budget available within the organization for learning, whether it is books, whether it is resources, whether it is online workshops and so on. And all employees have access to that, including interns, including employees and so on. The second thing that we focus on is music. Music is something that allows you to just sit and relax. So on one of our floors, we have an entire music area set up, and that music area itself is supplemented with some technology. We have these lights, nano-leaf light panels that are just there, where the lights themselves resonate to the way that the music is playing and change and amplify all of the entire experience. The other part is, of course, games. We have people just sitting together and playing PlayStation sometimes during the day and having a lot of fun. One of my favorite things is this Lego set that we have. So one of this 2,000-piece Lego set that we just acquired is basically allows you to build a Saturn V rocket spaceship. And we have been just combining that effort together collectively as a team to slowly build this 1 meter tall rocket ship using Lego kits. At Postman, the design itself, if you see on both the website and the logo, has had a very strong history. So the core of what we really wanted to reflect is this idea and this motif of retro-futurism. So the idea behind this is that Postman takes you from an older way of doing things to this new space-age way of doing things. And the spaceman itself that you see in the logo, his job is exactly that, to take you from an old way of doing things to this new space-age way of doing things. That's reflected in everything that we have. We wanted the office to have a soul, a culture, and not be generically motivational. It is more about making sure that our values resonate through the office space itself. So Cooper is our beloved golden retriever who was pretty much the second, I would say, employee that became a part of the office and been pretty much the soul of the entire company. He resonates literally, I think the way that he has embodied everything that we do, he resonates that in his entire behavior. And he is our Chief Happiness Officer, and I think the reason for most people in the organization to come to work every day. Anything that people do as part of this organization has a real life impact around the world. And that is the level of impact that we talk about.
It's that uniqueness that I think brings me to work every day. Just to be part of this process, to know that the stuff we build is being used across the world to do who knows what.
In terms of technology, I would say we are working on some of the most top-end technologies and making sure we deliver a complete product to the end user, and working with people from different kinds of industries, different people with different kinds of experiences, and that is something that I learn day in, day out.
You have the ability to influence life of 6 million developers around the world. That level of impact is I think, the biggest reason and the biggest reason that I would recommend anybody to come and work at Postman.